Good morning and good evening. Welcome to the Circle of Harmony. And the topic is, I'm not sure, but it's like finding an aim, finding my aim, finding why I don't have an aim, or exploring why it's tough to have an aim. Just reflecting around my aim, my goal, my passion, my vision, my mission in life, or the lack of one, or the smallness of one. Before we begin, although we have begun, we can just take 2 minutes to center ourselves with the help of our breath, with the focus in any part that we would like, between the eyebrows, tip of the nose, top of the head, just taking two long breaths with the focus there. Invoking Divine's presence and grace as we begin another exploration into something that should naturally come to me, be in me, and yet it isn't. So then we'll make an effort and try to be that. Yeah. So everything has closed down and opened some windows. So bear with. Yeah. Just sharing, the poster that was created for this session, and the title being My Life. And just reading it, that after all, life isn't a game. There is a reason why I came. Truth I must seek, I must proclaim. My life must have an aim. Beyond titles and a name, no need to conform, look the same. Must recognize, transcend, and claim a mission, a calling, an aim. Just, it's like there's nothing new in this topic. We all speak about aim in life, goal in life. And there's that, very popular quote, saying, aphorism from, I don't know if it's from Mother or Sri Aurobindo, where it says that, an aimless life is a miserable life. And all the quality of your aim will depend the quality of your life. So just it's like mostly it's just self-reflection, but the way I live my life, it appears to be that it is really a game. The things that I give significance to, the priorities in my life, the lost in my world. So it appears that although it isn't, but it's really, I don't give it much importance, although in some ways I do. What I eat, how I look, what I don't know, my images, my whatever. And yet the truths of life, why I came, where I'm heading, life, death, and things in between, they just don't have much value. If I just reflect on them, it's very transitory reflection. And yet, I do know there must be a reason why I came, but I don't really put a lot of effort or give it any space in my day that why am I here? And if I'm done, if I'm ready, I must seek the truth which I'm trying in my own way, and yet it must be the direction towards which I'm walking, breathing, aspiring, looking. proclaim, it has a power to it, that it's mine, I want it. So right now, if I'm doing an effort, if I'm making an effort, I want harmony. I want okay, okay, can I take a session this time? Do you have time? Da, 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 da. So it's just like it's very hush hush, as if there's no force in it. I'm just trying to creep it in, for example, my readings, my seekings. So my life must have an aim. Beyond titles, all the titles that we have, let it made, it could be professional and relational. I have a name which I really identify with. No need to conform, look the same. And yet we are all conforming, trying to being, working, eating, kind of, just the same, same, same. Must recognize, I mean, first I must recognize what's happening for me to want something else, transcend, move from point A to B where I want to be, claim a mission, a calling, an aim. They are very simple, I think. And yet we have issues in reaching here, issues in making these lines ours. So just, wanting to begin with this reflection, this thing that why do I not have higher aims? We obviously all have aims, day to day planning. What will I cook? Where will I go? How would the week look? Which is great. And yet, why don't I have bigger things with me? Mostly, I'm just, it's like an anchorless, or maybe I don't know what they call the rudderless ship that's in the ocean or in a lake, river, whatever we want to, wherever we want to put our ship. And it's just because I don't know where I want to go, it's just floating, right? If somebody else knows where they are going, so I just tie my ship to their ship and then it goes where they want to go. And I just feel lost. I just feel incomplete. I just feel a bit bored because that's not where I want to go. And yet, because I don't know or I don't have the courage to direct it towards where I want to go, what choice do I have? So, how do I change that? Or anything. So, anything on the topic, the title, any reflections before we delve more into it, although we are delving into it.
Like you were saying, that we all have these small aims, what to do, where to go, planning and all. But again, at some points at different points in life, there are these small nudges, there's small hints. We end up, doing something that we didn't expect doing. Like, we end up volunteering for something. We end up holding a hand of someone crossing the road. We end up buying flowers from a little girl who is trying to sell it, and just so she can just go home or go to school, do things as such. And then I realize, um, or we realize, okay, so why am I so happy doing this? If my aim is something else, if my aim is to, have this much money, that should be the one thing that should give me happiness. But why is this giving me more happiness? Why is volunteering for no, for or like why is like why is volunteering, or why is playing with a kid is giving me more happiness? And that's when at least I get confused. I really get confused, thinking, why, okay, so what's going on? Like, I've been planning for something all my life, and now this thing comes for just for a few minutes, and now my whole understanding, my whole perspective is changing. And again, like the layers of the layers of me I was talking about yesterday, they say, like, you're not that, you're this, and they again pull me back. And um, the only difference I find is the first time I'm fully immersed in my material aims. The second time, after some experience, I am immersed, but I still have that experience that, okay, there is something more. A little, it's like, like a small light saying there is something more. But again, until it doesn't burn enough, I don't know if I'll go there or not. I'm still confused. But that's what I see, from this.
Yes. So there is, these day-to-day things, happenings that make us wonder if we are going in. Hmm? And yet, most of us do not really have a central aim, right, towards which I want my life to head, right? Like mostly for everything, say if I'm planning a vacation, say if it's a beach vacation or a mountain vacation, I have certain goals, right? Okay, I want to experience this, I want to, if I don't know, go to these restaurants, that will give me this will give me that. If I'm buying a jacket, if I'm buying a shoe, I know this is what I want from it, right? What temperature would it be able to protect me till? Is it waterproof, not waterproof? Does it have a hoodie? So I have aims for the things I own. I have maybe, I don't know, certain mostly smaller goals for my children too. And yet, what is my aim as an individual here on earth? I mean, it sounds dramatic, but yes. So do I have something that I am walking towards? Like, is there something bigger, in addition to the small things? Am I directing my ship, just taking that analogy again? Or is it just flowing automatically wherever it needs to flow? And if I'm okay with wherever it's flowing, that's great. But if I'm feeling some restlessness, if I'm feeling some agitation, frustration, some incompleteness in my everyday, that means it is going, but I'm not okay with it. So, what am I doing, or what can I do to take it where I want to be? Just wanted to reflect on that what stops me from having an aim, what stops me from wanting to move towards it, and what do we do to clear those stoppings? So if we want, we can maybe close our eyes and just try to again come in the present moment, beyond the thoughts, beyond the grinds of every day, and allow ourselves maybe 2 to 3 minutes of stillness and reflection, staying with my breath. I ask myself, what is my aim in life? What is that one thing that I would like myself to walk toward, and if possible, touch, reach, become one day? What do I truly want? Forgetting the dictates, the norm, the rewards, the gifts that come with my choices. If everything was equal and if there was no one to comment, to judge, to benefit from my choices, no responsibility, no duty for this minute, if I can drop them, No sacred pens, no sacred thread. Just me. What would I like to do now, or ultimately, where do I see myself happy? If we are having trouble reaching anywhere, maybe we can try and connect to the little us when I was a child. What made me smile? What did I want to be? All in innocence, no planning and being clever. So I am somebody and I have a purpose. I was sent here for a purpose. What is my purpose? So imagining, visualizing, that boat that's in the water. Where is my boat heading toward? Is it on its own? Does it have a direction? Is it tied to all other boats? What's happening with my boat? The boat that I might be tied to, does it know? Does that boat know, I think, where it's going? Or am I just procrastinating, because it's easier not to make decisions sometimes. And it's easy when things are decided for you, but then you have to accept the choices, the life, the waters that we are being taken. Yeah, so whenever we are ready, we can open our eyes if we had closed them in the first place. And any profound or simple sharing, reflections, confusions, annoyances by this small exercise, if we were able to do it. We can even start with just sharing our aim, like if we could touch anything or if we already have one, what is it? And are we able to walk towards it? What are our challenges?
Yeah, Tarun. So when I was thinking about what you were just saying, right? So recently I had this experience of going to a place where we had to take a speedboat from one island to another. So we were practically like crossing the lagoon, going into the ocean, and then going back into the lagoon, right? So I was imagining that, as you were saying, like the boat where it is going. So actually, while I was enjoying the speed of the boat, right, it was actually quite scary and uncertain because the waters were so large, you can't see the shore, like you're just in the middle of nowhere, right? While one part of it is like really calm because there's absolutely no sound. You can just hear the boat, and it's just two, three people in the vast ocean. It can swallow you up at any time. But I think that just resonated that while something in us wants that big aim, right? It just feels so much more comfortable to have the small aims in front of us and to think about the small aims because they're like so just out there. You can reach out to it and you can achieve it. But when it comes to these bigger aims, which you know actually deep within that you have to seek out to, it's very scary to get there or to like start thinking about it. So yeah, that's what I could resonate.
Yes, Mira. I'm just reminded of something when you were sharing. I guess. Yeah, although when I had read it, the source was Bhagavad Gita. But if I'm just pulling it up right now, it says, I don't know, Robert Bond, I don't know. But this thing I had, when I saw this, I've shared it before, I found it very profound that we are kept from our goal not by obstacles, but by a clear path to a lesser goal. Because the big takes planning, the big takes action, the big requires courage and determination and perseverance and patience and whatnot. And yet the small is easy, right? Like if I'm feeling really muddled, confused, chaotic, I'll start cleaning my room. Because at least something is clean. Like if I can't clean my brain or whatever my thought, but I can clean my room. So that gives me a false sense of, okay, I was able to do something. It's very funny, and yet I've seen this in and around me that we do that. Just seriously reflecting on this, that we are kept from a goal if we have a goal that is to begin with in the first place, not by obstacles. Sometimes, of course, by obstacles, but mostly it says not by obstacles, but by a clear path to a lesser goal. Because I cannot accomplish that big thing, that per thing, let me at least do this that I can do, the thing that I've been doing, the thing that I'm good at, the thing that seems to be making, others around me happy, or the thing that seems to be complying to the norms of the world. Very interesting. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, not on a serious note, if we can just unmute one by one and just share what our aims are or goals are every day or life aims, just for all of us to laugh or get motivated or feel alive and awake. So I can call names, but if we can just unmute and share a line or two about what I think my aim is or what I want my aim to be, just casual, anything that's coming. Yes, Chat.
Yes. My aim is to find my aim, to be honest. I don't know if that sounds silly, but my aim is to really find what my aim is. If I have to explain with an example, if there is a if there is a pond or if there is like a lake of water, that surface where I'm trying to see my reflection on has so many ripples. It's showing me something else that I know I'm not. At least now I know I'm not. And I'm waiting or I'm trying to kind of stable it, so it becomes there are no ripples and I can see my clear reflection. Right now, that is my aim. Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So my aim right now is to find what my aim should be, could be, must be. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Very reflective. Yeah, anybody else?
Before you start calling,
Yeah.
uh, I think my aim is to find inner peace. Um, you know me, like I feel like I always look for things outside, and I think it's mostly to start focusing more inwards, and it's all in there. So just, finding that. So inner peace, and I also feel like sometimes I get like lonely. It's like, but if I'm with myself, be best friends with myself, so you don't feel lonely. So, but anyways, that's loaded, but that's my aim. At some point, I'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing. So inner peace, beautiful aim. One thing that's comes to me when I think about peace, it's like it's quite funny that I do say that I want peace, and yet a lot of what I do takes me to unpeace, right? Like if something happens, say if I'm accused of something, or if somebody's giving me that eye of disapproval, I don't say that, oh, I want peace, let him, it's his face, let him give any expressions that he wants. That time I choose being right. I choose being, okay, the one who needs to say this or put my foot down. So I keep forgetting what I have chosen as my aim
Aim.
because things just seems more, I don't know, melodramatic, or I feel I can say this or that or prove myself. So I find that quite interesting.
That's true, right? Like, and I think the quote that you just shared, it kind of goes towards that, right? Like, if you're clear with your short term, so I think then you develop that habit. But you're right, like, inner peace. But then if someone says something and I get stuck in the loop, and like right now something happened, and then it's like, you know what? My conscience was clear. I'm not gonna think about it. If the other person thinks that way, that's their problem, right? Like, I'm not going to feed to it, but it takes practice. And but you're right. So I think the quote that you shared, I really liked it because it's important to know your big goal, but at the same time a path towards your, like, short-term goal. So I think if I can fix that, hopefully I'll get there. But yeah, it's
Mm.
Am I audible to this one?
Yeah, a bit. If you could just speak a bit louder, otherwise, yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So I think the quote that actually came to my mind was like, I think this was from Buddha. Uh, Be like the mountain that is so unaffected by praise or
Yeah,
criticism.
you're not audible now, so sorry. Do you want
Okay.
to put the phone closer to your maybe face while you're talking?
Yeah, I just took off the Bluetooth. I think that's better now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I closed my eyes, I think the quote from Buddha came to my mind where, it says, be like the mountain that is unaffected by either praise or criticism. So I think for the longest time in our lives, it was all about, attaining something in society, having a stature, making a mark, and, having reached a certain position, uh, you realize that this is not all fulfilling. It's good, it's given comfort, but it's not all fulfilling. So when I close my eyes, I can actually see myself in some, very remote location. I'm all by myself. I think it's very symbolic, similar to what Aditi is saying. It's about connecting to yourself, because I think in this society that we are in, there's so many distractions, whether it is conversation wise, whether it is sensory wise, the distractions are enormous. And the need to to have choices in life which are not based on what somebody thinks, what somebody sees in you,
and to be unaffected by that and just make a pure choice based on what you want, you feel, you want to do, which is not affected by am I going to get adulations? Am I going to get praise for what I do? So I think first I need to connect with myself, because right now it's got so blurred with what um, with my environment and my surroundings. Once I do that, I think then I will know what I want to do, whether it is just, the selfless acts or something else. But right now it is just so blurred. So I think reconnecting with self, yeah, to then achieve a higher goal later. But right now I'm not sure what it is. And I think it's blurred by generally what society tells. Oh, you should, you know, do stuff for others, you should join an NGO, you should do this. But I really honestly don't know right now. Yeah. So reconnecting.
Yeah, thank you, Deepa. It's so funny. Like, say, imagine that we are standing in front of a mountain. Like, of course, like a little bit because the mountain would be bigger. And I'm just saying that, oh, you're so bald. Or, oh, you should be curvier. Or, oh, you should be higher. It's like we can imagine it just smiling down at us, right? Or, I don't know, our voice might not even reach it, but just for fun purposes, like all it would be like, all right, okay, you're bolder, okay, you should be greener, okay, you should, okay, it's like, and so beautiful is that, solidarity, that, I don't know, the strength that I am, and I am okay with what I am. And yes, if you want to say something, I will listen, but it doesn't need to touch me. And this is so interesting what you spoke about, and I'm happy that we were just talking about praises and approvals, because mostly we do want praises and approvals. What we don't want is rejection and judgment, right? And they go together, right? If the praises give me happiness, it's impossible that the disapprovals will not make me sad. I remember, it's a funny incident, but I remember once I woke up early and my parents were both up and they were talking something. And then I just heard them say, Taru hai na, something like this. And I was like, oh, now, obviously they'll say something nice about me. Like, what else is there to say? And they said something, ki, oh, she does this and she never does this. Like, it was something negative, very day to day. And it was so lovely for me to see the change in me. Like I'm just woken up thinking, okay, अच्छा क्या बोलेंगे, कि अच्छा ही बोल रहे होंगे. And when I heard कि क्या बोल रहे हैं, what went in me, कि अच्छा ये कह रहे हैं मेरे बारे में. It was hilarious, and I realized at that moment how a comment, you know, is capable of kind of bringing that thing in me कि oh मेरे को ऐसे कह रहे हैं या मुझे वैसे कह रहे हैं. Obviously it was very trivial. I just laughed and I went in the room. कह रही मुझे बोलो ना, tell me directly why I saying I do this. That it's amazing that till I want the praise, I will have to get the brunt of the judgments and all. I have to keep both of them down. Like if I praise a mountain or if I criticize the mountain just is. It just is. It doesn't know any other way. And it's so full of its beauty and power and heights and strength. Yes.
Yeah, it actually tells. It's like a story. The saying, and it's exactly what you said. Like, there are these group of people who are standing in front of the mountain, and they are giving it like, really bad words, and they're saying so many things, and it just stands there and it just floats away. So, and there's this other group that's praising it, but it's just not moving. The mountain is just not moving, and it's just there. So I think the Buddhist teaching was that if we attain that, then I think that would bring about a lot more beauty in our lives, because then you're focusing on yourself, and then you know better.
And one can very beautifully practice this. The next time if something is being said to me, while it is being said or it has been said, like Aditi was saying, if we can just close my eyes and I can just imagine, a beautiful mountain, and let me say those things to the mountain. or let me feel in my, like let me just feel it fully that I am that mountain and somebody's saying anything that works for me. And I've tried it, I've tried it in different aspects that, okay, somebody's going on and on and on and on. And I've just, shut myself. And there is, I don't know, for me at times there was this quote, right? Like in the Bodhisattva vows, there is this thing that let me be a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. Like somebody was just accusing me for about 20-25 minutes, an elderly person. And I was sitting there and was thinking, yes, yes, tell me, what did I do wrong? And in my mind, it was just like, let me be the bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. Let me be the bridge. And it was so effortless and so beautiful that I was there, and yet I wasn't there. And all that was happening was that that person had some things that he had been holding for years. And he just wanted to, tell me, you do this, you do this, you do this. And then as soon as he finished, he apologized that, I don't really believe in it, or, it wasn't really something, but I just wanted to get it off my chest. And it's I mean, we can do this. It's not something high. It's just that if we can just have the will that, okay, next time I would do this, or if right now, if I have some things that when I recall, I feel not happy, if I feel small, if I feel criticized, if I can just visualize that, okay, I'm saying this to the mountain, and what is the mountain saying? Or holding on to any quote, any saying, any chant while that thing is going on, it gives us that strength. It gives us that thing that we can hold on to. Yeah, anybody else, please? Yeah, I think Saraswati ji, you had unmuted, please, if you would want to share now. Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to say that actually, from my childhood, my aim was that whatever I will do it joyfully. One day, I thought that I'm doing, but who am I? That question, actually, I'm staying nearby Sri Aurobindo Bhavan, Kolkata. So I'm going there one day, that thing, many, that seminar, workshop is going, I'm just attending, sitting there, I'm hearing. One day I thought that if I'll do mother's work, then I will change my life, because everyone enjoying my work. I'm not getting anything because I'm doing joyfully, and at evening when I'm coming home from work, okay, I'm feeling calm. Everyone is satisfied. But what I'm doing for me, that question came to me, and after that, I just started to writing journal, and I started to talking with the mother. Slowly, I don't know anything, because right now also I don't know anything, but I'm starting to this thing. And after that, I started to study, just started to know Sri Aurobindo, the mother. Suddenly, just COVID period, that is 1 month I got a free time, and I shared with them. Most of the time, I shared with me only, me time. Now that time I realized that this is a good opportunity and I will utilize it. Slowly I'm reading. There is a lot of opportunity, and first opportunity by mother's grace. I just understand that I also got you, that here I'm sitting right now and talking with you also. That one also I know that this is mother's grace, and that the vast things just open to me. And right now I'm doing many works, because I'm doing office only. I was just working and coming to home. Right now, many things I'm doing, but I never feel tired. And that just after office, before office at morning, I'm doing Sampadananda Mistriji's class, I'm doing Alok Panditji's class, and a regular touching and all these things. Actually, I don't know anything, but just opened everything to me. suddenly just opening. And that one thing helped me, that I'm writing journal, and when I'm attending class, I'm just making a tree. That what I'm learning, just what I have learned today. That this is a big opportunity, and right now I'm very clear that what is my aim. That this, and such a joy I cannot express you. But I like to stay in silence always. That's why I cannot talk much. But this is an excellent opportunity, everyone. And sometimes I'm thinking that why other people are not trying. I know that this is also my that an issue, but I know that if I will change, then my surrounding automatically will change one day. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. You kept saying you don't know anything, you don't know anything, and yet what you are living is so inspirational. Along with office, taking out time for so many sessions and being available all the time and opening yourself in itself is such a big task in today's world, and so much courage and dedication is needed. So, and with the aim of to find joy in everything is such a beautiful aim.
Ataru?
Yes, Ardari.
So I always, feel funny about myself. I always have a doubt whether I will have an aim in life, whether I have an aim in life. So of late, I started asking this question too many times to myself. See, one day I thought, I will fix a short-term goal. Today, I will not mistake anyone. Today, I will not get angry. Like that, I started doing. But I don't know whether, at the end of the day, if I check maybe 5 times, if I used to get angry, it became 3 times. So I don't know whether it is aim or what is this, I don't know. But recently, I started doing this practice, and I don't have long term, remembering the mother is long term aim. Always remember and offer. For we have to keep doing that. But I don't know whether I'm able to do that or not. But I thought I should have, for that day, I will not get upset. So, and in one of the sessions you shared, so what? Monica, you. So that so what is working, very, very nicely. So one day something happened, somebody said something to me. I was, usually I'll get very upset and emotional. I used to feel very bad. So I was, just going into that loop. Then I asked myself, so in one, who's that person's name? So he used to ask, no, Ajin Amaro.
Yeah, Ajahn Amaru, yes.
Ajahn Amaro. Then I remembered that. But so so I asked myself, after that I didn't find any meaning in that, getting upset or whatever they say. It's okay for me, it's okay, no problem. So right now I'm having very small aims for that day. Today I will do this, tomorrow I will do that. I don't know whether this fits in here, but I thought I'll share.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. It's like it seems that the aim is to live a simple life, right? Like no drama, less complications. And for that, you choose small, small daily aims to take you towards a more simple, joyous life. So beautiful.
Actually, I have a doubt, Taru. See, goal and aim, are they same?
Yeah, I don't
What is
know. Yeah, I don't know according to the English dictionary what the meaning is, but if I use the words, if I say it, yeah, goal, aim seems, where we are heading, where we want to be, where we want to smaller or bigger. Yes, I would use them as synonyms, but I'm sure if there's I don't know if there's a difference, there would we can look it up on Google. But yeah, for all practical purposes,
no, no, for practical purpose only I'm
yeah,
asking. See,
yeah,
literal English meaning is okay.
yeah,
So for today, I will be like this. That will be my aim. That is
yeah,
what I call that.
yeah,
My aim is to be like this today.
yeah. No, but if we can have such a aim and then if we can be conscious of it, right? That's the problem, right? It's still easier to just think that, okay, this is what I do. But if I can remember when I'm slipping, when I'm about to diverge and all, if I can remember and course correct, that is really beautiful. And that's like strengthening my muscles for so much more that I would need to do. So, yeah, thank you for sharing this back.
Thank you.
When you were sharing this thing that, just a simple, Sacha or Acha Jeevan. Like that's my aim, and how beautiful is that? Mm.
So gently we used to, in one of the sessions, purifying. Last week it has happened. So somebody was sharing, at least you'll have a group among yourself. You try to, remember. You can help others to just, intimate. Hey, if you talk something bad, no, we are not supposed to talk something bad. So what is the, I don't know who was the speaker. She said they have kept, mother and son as 10 commandments. It's not actually commandment, but mothers, be simple, don't lie, don't complain, like that. They used to take some 5 6 things and they would try to follow. That small child, if the one day the mother was saying, the food is not very tasty, the child said, Mama, you are not eating the food for the sake of taste, for the sake of eating, you have to eat. So like that, she said, make a small groups at home and you try to remember the, whatever you want to follow. So generally we used to do, Meera and myself, when we sit on the table to eat, immediately we start jumping on the food. And after, first gulp, Mama, did you offer? She will ask, always she'll ask, did you pounce on food? Yes, I pounced. So that also maybe, it can help some people. If we have a small, our whole family can practice this. But she was sharing, it was very beautiful. I forgot the name of the speaker. So this aim thing also can aim thing also can be done that way. I was thinking you are just going, offline.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why they, when especially in Buddhism, how they say, right? Sangha, right? Buddha,
Yeah.
Sangha, and Dharma, like how it is important. And again, like the more we, read about it, the more we practice, we realize that that's really, really, really important because you're absorbing, right? You're absorbing so much from around you that definitely, yeah.
Yeah, all these sessions are really, beautiful sangha. We can learn from everyone's experience. Beautiful. Thanks.
Yes, Cyrus, if I may request you to share something, if even a little bit.
Sadaji, that session was Gitanjali ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Saswati.
We both we both attended, that's why.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, hi. So, to be honest, I mean, I have, like few people mentioned, I too have these smaller goals. But the fact is that, I've never really given it so much thought that, what is the purpose, what is my aim. And I obviously for years you keep hearing this, and some people say, yeah, this was my purpose, or this was, this is what I was here for, or this is, like even like sports people, some people who reach the top, they say that, yeah, this is what I was meant to be or meant to do. I think somewhere I really don't know how they get it, and at the same time, like I said, I've never really given it so much thought that, yeah, what is my purpose? I mean, I would say I do these small goals that, I put it down and I kind of, try and practice it. But personally, yes, I wish I had that answer, in some way. I wish I could, get get more clarity on that, but I'm not really sure how, one gets there, to be honest. That's
Yeah.
what I would like to share.
Yeah. Thank you. It's very interesting that, people that we kind of look up to, or, even people from the stories, the so-called heroes, how everyone, say, okay, there's a Black Cat Commando, right? Like I'm walking in Delhi and I just see a Black Cat Commando and I'm like, when I see him, it's like, okay, he must be so goal towards something, right? Like he's here for a purpose, something big must be happening. And if I just happen to ask, okay, what is your plan? What are you doing? He'll be like, nothing. Whatever the air, wherever the wind will take me, I'll go. So, in the sense, what I want to say is that any stories, anything that we find encouragement, motivation in things that we look up to mostly, those people have had some aim, right? There's something specific that they are working towards. I mean, there are so many beautiful stories how people could face so much because they had a bigger aim in life, because they wanted to achieve something. The other day, I got a book from a library. It was a children's book, and in that, they shared stories about, people who have done heroic things. Like there was this story that there was this woman who did, like, I don't know, the husband was not there, or he was not on earth anymore, and she had a small child, and she was so poor that she had to give that child to for adoption. Like they took him and put him in an orphanage because she couldn't feed him, and there was an expedition going to the North Pole or something, like, and she joined there. And I think the expedition was that for 2 months they'll be dropped on some patch of, I don't know, land, and they'll do some experiments. And then after 2 months, the ship will come and pick them back. So they were like five, six people, and the ship never came back. The ship didn't come. And I think in about maybe a year, everybody died because they didn't have any resources, they didn't have enough food, they just lost hope. All except that woman, because she had that aim that I am here because I want to make that money, to earn that money to get my kid back from the orphanage, and I promised him that I'll be back. So after 1.5 years, there was another ship that was passing that area, and she saw her, and they got her back. And now her name is written in history. They don't know how she kept herself alive without any resources in that, in that below freezing temperatures. And stories upon stories are filled with people, who had bigger aims, like something higher to hold on to, and they were able to, you know, I don't know, cut through mountains, right? There was this person whose wife passed away because, she had some emergency, and while they were being rushed to the hospital, it was, I don't know, 10 hours away or something. So he after that, when he came back, he cut through a mountain in his village, shortening the path to maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes. At the next time, if anybody would have an emergency, they would need to go around the mountain that takes hours in the cycle that they had. And now they'll just go through the mountain. So that was a single person. I remember reading about him. Okay. So Jagannath said Manji, the mountain man. So these things are true, right? Like how these things happen. And yet we are scared to have aims. We are scared to have goals. Either there is some laziness or there is too much attraction towards comfort. There is fear of change that we were discussing yesterday. I mean, we can really have big, 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 huge lives, and we have big goals, and yet we choose the everyday. And I'm not saying it's bad, but why we can have more. And yet when I see what stops me, I don't know, nothing much comes to me. There's a line in Savitri which says that, I'm an aimless travel between birth and death. Like an aimless traveler between birth and death. And I am that. So finding a aim sounds so important and feels like it will give a purpose. Yes, I think somebody had muted. I heard something, but I just kept going on and I don't know who it was.
No, I just said, yeah, I agree with what you mentioned. When people do have that aim, you can do a lot more. And we know also the power of our own minds, right? We know that for sure. When we are more determined, we can really do so much more. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, yeah. There was a small video from Jetsunmala. It was just about waking up. I had seen it the other day. Would be nice to just see it. It's very short. I'll share that. The audio wasn't that great, but let's just see if we can.
I sometimes wonder what the Buddha would think of it if he came back and looked around and said, how did I start this? What did I say? That this is what they ended up with. Our society is based on propagating and encouraging the growth of those very defilements which the Lord Buddha said were the cause of our suffering. For example, our greed and our aggression. And that greed and aggression is based on the basic misconception of who we truly are, which again in our modern society, self-aggrandizement is regarded as being a virtue. So the fact that you have more and bigger greeds and bigger needs makes you more and more of a person of substance in the eyes of the world. And this is a fundamental delusion which all spiritual paths have understood. It doesn't lead to happiness. People desperately want to be happy. And they create more and more of the causes of their suffering. If that's not delusion, what is? Human beings have this incredible potential, to become really beyond the gods. But mostly what they do with their human potential is to destroy both themselves and others. I mean, instead of being something wonderful and benign, we've become like a cancer on this planet, destroying everything. I mean, destroying all the nature, destroying all the animals, destroying each other, destroying ourselves. I mean, it would be nice if someone would come along and find some method by which people could awaken. But even the Buddha couldn't do that. So how to collectively wake up? I don't know. Big bang, we'll go.
Very small video and yet very reflective that how we are the cause of our suffering. We all know that, how we hold on to it and how we are increasing it. And yet we don't know how to wake up. Like, we know what we are doing. We know it's not taking us where we want to go towards our aims, most of all. And yet we don't know how to shrug that off and just go towards where we want to be. There's so much holding on. There's so much there. And yet, if I have an aim, if I make an aim, if I find an aim, even smaller aims, if I can't find a big one, it helps me at least from staying where I am, staying in the muck. At least I can, again, the worm story, that's Jagan's favorite story, I think I was reminded of here, that how if some of us see the light, if we do see the light, at least we can start looking towards the light and have that aim that I want to be that light, I want to touch that light. That would be a beautiful beginning. Some of us would be familiar with Savitri, the bioepic, the poem written by Sri Aurobindo, the story of consciousness seeking, saving truth. And it's so beautiful that, it's in the beginning, it says that how everything is in darkness and slumber and just inactivity. And there is just one stirring that happens. There is just one movement that happens somewhere on earth. And it says the divine eye opens and sees, oh, where is the movement? Who wants something? So if on earth there's a single movement and the eye opens and sees, okay, who wants something, imagine what our aspirations, our prayers, our aims have the potential of giving us. I mean, it's really huge, the potential. Yeah, anything before we move? Another maybe 5 minutes and we should wrap up. I think this sharing would be incomplete without us this little bit reading of what Sri Aurobindo or Mother have said. So this is a very popular quote, very in-depth quote that I don't know, we have all read, I know we have all heard most likely. And yet, do we really know what this means? How to do this? If anybody is willing, if they could read it for us, that would be wonderful.
Yes, I'll read it. An aimless life is always a miserable life. Every one of you should have an aim. But do not forget that on the quality of your aim will depend the quality of your life. Your aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. This will make your life precious to yourself and to others.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. We always take aim to be, okay, what do I want to become? What do I want to do? What is just, the regular day-to-day aims. And yet I don't have anything bigger. And here it is being said that an aimless life is always a miserable life. I do feel that the opposite of it also would be true, right? That if my life is miserable, if I see pain, if I feel suffering, if I feel discontentment, I can go back and ask myself, what is my aim? What is it that I am moving towards, what I want to move towards? Because why am I feeling this lack, this incompleteness, this not good enough where I am? So, an aimless life is a miserable life, and a miserable life most likely must be lacking a aim. Otherwise, it would not be miserable. How, Saraswati ji was sharing that my aim is to have joy in what I do. So, no matter what I'm doing, if my aim is to be happy in doing that, that's such a beautiful aim, right? So, every one of you should have an aim. But do not forget on the quality of your aim will depend the quality of your life. So if my aim is to, make money, if my aim is to have a big house, if my aim is to have a big car, or if my aim, whatever my aim is, that is the quality of my life. I cannot have a small, aim of, say, making money and then saying, but where is peace? Where is satisfaction? Where is joy? Where is bliss? That would not happen. That is where I usually go astray because I feel that that will give it to me. But if I'm working towards something materialistic, how do I expect that, oh, I'll be like in Satchit Anand? That's at least that is a movement that I can self-correct now and realize that if I'm walking towards supermarket, all I'll get back is maybe a dress, some aloo, some bhindi, and I will not go there and get, peace. So aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. Usually they are small and narrow, right? Very, very instant gratifications, instant usually things that gives me joy. So aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. How beautiful it is that although we are saying have an aim, have an aim, have an aim, and yes, there is a disinterestedness that yes, I'm walking towards it, but there is no feverishness, there is no restlessness, and yet with all my strength, my courage, my energy, I'm giving to it. How beautiful is that? The aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. Usually we are so limited by my past, by our past, by our happenings, by our relationship, by our titles, by our traumas, that I am that to which this happened. And that limits us, that just does not let us live or expand or grow or become. So your aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. This will make your life precious to yourself and to others. And the heroes that we were talking about, that I was referring to, if we see people that we admire, they're people mentioned in the books in history, which we are reading years after years after years, they were generous and their life meant something more than themselves. And that's always beautiful. You all admire that. And yet, in our littleness, in our fears, in our insecurities, and our cravings for securities and comforts, we don't venture there. But at least if I know that this is what I'm doing, how I am stopping myself, how I am the wall around my own self, there's nobody else. I am my own wall. Maybe I can start, I don't know, breaking that wall or bringing it down. So yeah, so this was, I think, Sri Aurobindo. And yeah, it's a big article, but the main crux is this. I can share it or we can take it up next time. An aimless life is always, always a miserable life. At least for us, right? The seekers who are wanting things, if we have moved beyond things, it could be different. But till we are in the grind, we do need that. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just wanted to understand that disinterested part a little more, if you don't mind. You know, I think I missed a bit of that. What does it exactly mean? You know, if you can share an example.
Yeah, Cyrus, disinterested is, you know, how most of the things that I do or I walk towards, there is I attach certain things to that. Say, if I am going to give a speech or a presentation, you know, there will be nervousness, there will be anxiety that, oh my God, what if I go blank? What if people don't like, they don't understand my joke? What if they say I'm not a good speaker? Like, for example, right? And this interestedness is that I am going, because I am going to talk about something which is bigger than me, for example. So no failure is my failure. There is no such thing as failure. I'm going there as a joy, as a delight. If I goof up, it will be funny. Everybody would laugh. I laugh too. And whatever the divine wants, may that happen. So I am still doing everything with much more even determination and courage and effort than I would do the regular, my everyday. And yet, my being, my, you know, very hasti, my, I don't know what word to use. My big being is not dependent on the outcome of what happened. There's a disinterestedness. There is like no feverishness. There is no grasping. There is no, oh my God, what will happen? Because things are bigger than me. Yeah, my words. Thank you, Chetna. Yeah. So whenever we have any goal, whenever we aspire to do something, they say, check once. Is there feverishness? Is there, you know, what is moving inside? And that is, they say, a difference between aspiration and desire. When you aspire, there is no feverishness. There is no, oh my God, if this doesn't happen, what will happen? But in desire, there is always this thinking, but what will I get? Or what if I don't get that? Yeah, does that shed some light? I don't know, I can. And
Yeah, sure. That made sense. Thanks a lot.
Hi, Didi. I would like to share. Actually, your sharing reminded me of something, and yeah, like that I had read some time ago. Like disinterestedness would be, as you said, yes, like a detachment to the result, a detachment to the yeah to the result. Like it reminds me of Krishna's message. I don't remember the exact one, but the message that he gives Arjun in the war when he is about to fight and he's about to run away from the fight. Like he's like before the fight, he's like, I don't want to do this. And so the message that he gives, what I understood of that and how it connects to me over here is that basically the result is like he says the result is done, I have done that, and you just have to be the instrument. But it's also somewhere how I understand that in life is to to enjoy the process and not be attached to the result, basically, for anything, like to give oneself to the process. So basically, it's like to have an aim, but not to. I'm just reiterating what I have understood from your sharing up till now. Uh, like to have an aim, but not to be too tightly attached to that aim. Like, because if we don't have an aim, then we won't move only. Then we are into an, or like just dispersing energy here and there. So have an aim so that our energy gets a focus and a direction of movement. But to have it, like to hold it like softly, like to hold it in a playful manner, like to, so that it has that playful energy, so that one is not too attached to the result, so one does not get into that loop of failure or success, because that again either way is the ego.
Yeah. So to have an aim so that life has a purpose, so that it's not just a boat moving anywhere the waters want to take it. And yet, if I end up there or not is not my anxiety, my concern. What I can do, I'm sincerely doing that. And where I end up or where I end, in between or wherever, as long as I'm working towards it with as much sincerity and truth as I can, the result is not even in my brain कि अच्छा वहां भी पहुंचना है, बस चल रहे हैं चल रहे हैं चल रहे हैं चल रहे हैं, कहाँ जहां पहुंचे पहुंचे, बट डायरेक्शन वही है, और पूरी सिंसेरिटी से one is moving, like again like you said, कि अर्जुन तू कर्म कर, right? तू फल की चिंता मत करके, that is on me. You just pick up that bow and arrow and you shoot. This is what is asked of you right now. Who dies, who lives is not on you. So disinterestedness, not in forming a aim, in walking towards an aim, but for the result, I am disinterestedness, because that increases, again that vital comes and says कि अरे मुझे चाहिए, अरे मेरा aim है, अरे ऐसे कैसे जाने देंगे, अरे ऐसे कैसे पूरा नहीं होगा, because हम तो हर चीज को अपने जैसा ही बना देते हैं ना, कि बस it's not about winning or losing, it's about fighting, it's about walking, it's about trying. And yet in our society, the winning or losing is made so big that it seems कि क्या बोल रहे हो? Sometimes I remember when I tell my kid, you just play, just have fun. People look at me कि अरे फिर competent कैसे होगा? Competent, competitions कैसे करेगा? जीतेगा कैसे? Skills कैसे develop करेगा? So it's very how we are and how we take the world to be. It's very different, and we have to know where I want to go. I don't know if I'll end up there, and that's all right. It doesn't bother me, because my work is to aspire. My work is to put in effort, to have sincerity. The result, I don't think about it. It's not in my. Yeah. So we can, yes, Chetan.
Yeah, just reflecting on it, like even if he didn't bother about the result, Arjun still had to like pick up the bow and arrow and go to the battlefield, and in order to be the instrument. But a lot of what we do, and I've noticed that about me as well, is that we, like when we when we say कि रब पे छोड़ दिया, तो हम फिर एक्शन ही बंद कर देते, फिर हम मतलब इनर्शिया पे चल जाते कि यार मतलब रब पे छोड़ दिया तो रब ही करेगा. But he still like trained himself, and he was the best warrior and everything. So that part, don't remember.
Absolutely. There's no passivity. I remember once Acharya ji said कि our images of spirituality is कि अरे बस कोई एक white robe पहन के बहुत beautifully खड़ा है और maybe कोई incense जली हुई है or this is spirituality, this is how I would want to be in entering the spiritual world. But he said no, spirituality is you holding a sword and fighting first because you have to clear your ground. तो ये जो इमेजेस वगैरह हैं सारी कि क्या होगा, और ये पैसिविटी, आई एम सो ग्लैड यू बॉट इट अप बिकॉज exactly, I mean, if I don't have anything that I'm working towards, life goes really passive and it feels कि हाँ this is peace. Passivity is not peace. और जो पीस पैसिविटी से आ रही है ना उसमें कोई स्ट्रेंथ है ना वो लास्ट करेगी, इट्स नॉट गुड फॉर मच. So peace while being on the Kurukshetra ground is the peace. Because it's inside of me, even if I'm fighting, even if I'm killing, if that's what I need to do. But I mean, don't take it literally and start killing people. But just I am peace, and now whatever I need to do, I must do. Yeah, I wanted to say that before we end, and we are really close, Sham and Virenji haven't shared anything. So please, if they can unmute before we end the session. And
yeah, there was
Yes,
nothing
sir.
like Chetna was saying that I shall do my work and reward is not my concern. For whatever I need to do, I shall do it in the best possible way within the prevailing set of circumstances. Be it a very petty or a menial job or a very big hi-fi kind of job.
Yeah.
And then that disinterestedness, it actually means that I will devote my life to something very meaningful. For example, that when Mangal Pandey fired that shot, he knew that it would change his life upside down. Okay, all his relationships, everything will go awry, but he did fire it for a larger cause. When Subhash Babu did that, he did it for a larger cause, not thinking that how it would alter his life. He gave his job in the ICF and did all that. Traveled to Italy, to Rome, and to where not, even liaisoned with Hitler. So it all depends on the timing and the import of circumstances on how we conduct ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we must not lose hope, because hope is something that makes the whole world go around. And in the journey of life, there comes good and bad times also. So, like somebody told me that recessions come and go, but the winner is one who can play the recession down. So that's it.
The recessions and the high markets and all, they are one thing. And there's something in me which is not affected by recessions or whatever the opposite of recession is not coming to me. So, yeah, staying true to oneself, staying connected within. And yeah, all type of times come, and if I have a goal, if I have something bigger that I'm working toward, all these things which appear to be big, they find their place. जब कोई बड़ा आ जाता है तो सब छोटे को अपनी जगह समझ आ जाती है. अदरवाइज सब दे आर जंपिंग के मैं यहाँ का राजा हूँ. But when the true king comes, everybody, all ministers who were probably ruling on the king's behalf, they go and sit where they're supposed to sit.
Conceptually, I completely agree with the statement that was made that one needs to have aim and the aim should be high. I completely agree, but where I think there is a struggle, and it may be for a lot of people, I don't know if it's for everybody, is balancing it with the day-to-day life, basically. At the end of the day, when things are going good, it's easily possible to have higher ambitions and things like that. But when things go rough, everybody, I think, without exception, comes down to survivalism. And at that point in time, when the going is really rough and one is down in the trenches, at that point in time, to think of something beyond oneself, I think requires superhuman effort, which many people may not have. So I think the challenge is, how do you cultivate that, for the day when things will be rough. Uh, like I said, when things are fine, everybody can think of, glorious things. I think that's where the challenge is. I don't know the answer, but I think that's where the challenge is for most people, including me.
I think it really depends on where you are and what you are doing, right? Like big things, if you have something big, and if something comes and you're totally engulfed by something, you might be fully engulfed in it. And yet, if what you're aspiring for, if you're working towards is big, you may say that, I cannot do this right now. And yet I know this is where I need to be, and this is where I'll be led to. My father, he often said that, for basic seeking of God, there is some level of finances you required, the basic roti, kapda or makan, ye hota hai, uske baad mein one begins their quest. And when I went for my first Vipassana course, in some remote area or whatever, so it was 10 days, and the people that I saw there, absolute basic from villages, I don't know, traveling so far away because they've heard कि अच्छा यहाँ शांति मिलेगी, या यहाँ पे आके अपने साथ कनेक्शन होगा, साक्षात्कार होगा खुद का, one will be able to see oneself. I was shocked that how people were, from where all different stratas of society, they were there wanting to find peace and truth in them. Yes, Deepa.
There was a time when I used to believe in this also, that, if when life is comfortable, it is easier to pursue higher goals. But what I finally realized is adversity actually brings out the best in you. And you will see people sometimes struggling with 2 meals. And if you look at their attitude sometimes, I think they're more clear along this path. They are not distracted by the stuff that we have in our lives, because we are spoiled by plenty, and we lose the focus because of that. There are so many ways that we lose this path, because there is comfort, there's luxury along the way. And I don't think materialism, money, has anything to do with pursuing higher goals. If you look at our freedom fighters, for example, their path was very difficult. There was no luxury and comfort. But look at the higher ideals. Look at how they completely sacrificed selfish interests and did higher stuff for the country. And likewise, there are so many other examples, right? And it can be somebody who's probably a rag picker. And who is to say that his life does not have higher ideals? And I think it is not sometimes about big things in life. It is not about being Mother Teresa, or likewise. It could be that maid in your house, who works beyond her hours, and just so that she is of help to me. So, and when I see that in her, and I think, at our level, we think about overtime pay and all of that. So it has nothing to do with money.
Yeah. And yet, what Virenji was saying, yeah, it could be that. And yet, I think once you're actually in the downs, and if you have that connection already, I think that helps you in standing back up. You were talking about the freedom fighters. Just a small thing, there's this report that, Bhagat Singh, he had actually written to his brother when he knew कि okay, tomorrow I have to be hanged. He gave this message to his brother कि मेरी body लेने आप आ जाना, don't send the mother, because अगर वो रोएंगी तो लोग कहेंगे भगत सिंह की माँ देखो रोती है. That too will hamper people's progress. कि I want there should be no crying, there should be no sulkiness, because my life meant more. So imagine that tomorrow you are dying, and this is what you're thinking, because I have to be the strength, or for whatever reason, even if I'm totally down in the dumps, and still if my aim is higher, if I'm attached to the bigger, everything I do will be taking me back to the big. But I think one has to be there to feel that. One can think, my weakness will overtake, but let's see whether it does or it doesn't. So it's already past our time. I apologize for the extra running over. We might take the same topic next time or take a new one. We'll see. So thank you so much for joining in, for staying for so long, for giving your inputs, sharing your lives. Just thanking each other for our company, for our presence, for our availability, and just praying for more peace, more stronger aspirations, higher aims in our lives and in the lives of everybody, so that we can do what we are here to do, and just don't spend our lives just grazing like we do, the smallness of things which appear to be big, like don't intend to belittle anything or anyone, because we do know we are meant for bigger things, higher things. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.